Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest I've known forever, but I haven't talked to him in forever. I can't believe I've never had this man on Ronline Report. Long overdue. Love hearing him. Finally get to talk to him. King Kamali, how are you?
What's
King?
up, fellas? What's up, everybody? Good to be here, brother. Love MD.
You can see how old we are because I have old school on and you have a T. Michael on.
Yeah, brother. You kids know nothing about this. This is old school, hardcore stuff. Back in the days when there was actually Hot Skins and Max Muscle stores in Venice instead of homeless people lined up in the streets.
Speaking of kid, I did a little bit of digging into your history.
Uh-oh.
I didn't realize that I'm actually like 3 years older than you. I always thought you were at least my age or maybe older because you were so jacked and everything, but no, you're only 50. You're 50, right?
I just turned 50. That's correct.
Just a kid, man. Enjoy your youth, King.
Hey, listen, man. Let me tell you something. I'm Benjamin Buttons. I'm going backwards, brother. I don't go this way. I go this way.
Well, look at the hairline. My goodness.
That ain't going anywhere either. And let me tell you something. This is not, it has to do with genetics, but at the same time, I have a formula. I do something in the morning and I do something at night before I go to bed. It's perfect. I got the fountain of hair youth going over here.
Okay, so I guess you guys can go to @King Kamali on Instagram and DM him for that. I've often noticed it's not, maybe this is a good stereotype. Persian men have hairlines down to their freaking eyebrows, and I don't see them going bald. They have beautiful hairline, beautiful heads of hair.
Beautiful, believe me. A lot of Persian men are bald, but yeah,
really?
they are. Trust me, they are.
Okay.
But because I get messages from them through Instagram and Facebook all the time saying, "Hey, man, how the hell did you do it by taking all that test and all the stuff that you did, and you still got?" I'm like, "Hey, listen." My grandfather, rest in peace, when he passed away, he was 96 and he had a full head of hair, man.
96, so, my goodness gracious. So man, I'm gonna start way back. So you won the collegiate nationals in 94 as a light heavyweight.
Correct.
Believe it or not, I remember that distinctly. That was like a series of years where every collegiate nationals winner was from your little region of the country.
That's correct.
And they were all Persian, I believe.
Yeah, the Piam did it. I did it. Yeah, it was. You know what? Let me tell you something. It was it was a special time for me. It was a special time in that area, the Maryland, Virginia, DC area. I mean, I can go down the list of Vince Taylor, Kevin Levrone, Yaz Bayum, King Kamali, Jack Smith, Don Long. It was just a really rare time that we all got that whole crew that we had, and we all just blew up.
Yeah. Wow. So you turned pro in 99 at the Nationals. Was there a super heavy class then, or was that the last year before they started?
No, there was a super heavy. Aaron Madron won the super heavies that year and the overall.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. Is Aaron still alive?
I don't know. The last time I saw Aaron, was 2001 at the Arnold Classic. That's the last time I saw him, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible to have to ask that question, but I mean, these days you kind of
nowadays you never know. I get you.
Well, I hope Aaron, if you're out there, I hope you're still alive and kicking and all that good stuff. So I think I was at all your pro shows that you did your first season, which I personally think that was your best look and your best season. 2001, you literally burst on the scene. Ironman Pro, that was your first pro show. Third place behind Chris Cormier, no slouch. And Melvin Anthony was pretty damn good back in those days. Arnold Classic, fourth place behind some guy named Ronnie Coleman. The only time he ever did the Arnold Classic, Ronnie Coleman, was that year. Chris Cormier again in second, and third place Dennis James. And man, Dennis was on fire right around then too. He was looking freakish. And then you go to the Olympia and you got top 10, 10th place.
Yeah.
And you didn't keep that progress. And here's where I want to ask you. I know you got bigger and bigger and bigger. You eventually were like 260 on stage, I believe, something like that.
That's correct. 262 at the Montreal show.
Oof. So, I mean, I liked you smaller and lighter. I thought the shape, the structure, the symmetry, it was a beautiful physique, had plenty of mass.
Right.
I feel like you got too big. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree. I mean, I was going with the times, you look at the champion, which was Ronnie. And then you look at Marcus Rule and you look at this, and you have to go with it. Now you have to understand something too. For me, it was a different type of situation. I don't make excuses. I did what I had to do. I wouldn't trade what my experiences for anything like that. For me, it was more of a mental, personal thing. My personal life wasn't going well. And I always say that to people right now when they contact me. If your personal life, if you're not right up here, forget it. It's not going to work. I don't care who you are. Okay, look at Tiger Woods. Okay, as soon as he started to screw up and his mind was gone, done, finished. And it took him so long to come back to where he is right now. It's the same thing in every sport. If you're not right here, it's just not going to work. I made some, to be very blunt, and I have been blunt, you know me, I married the wrong woman. I did. She didn't support me. She didn't. Now I got 2 kids out of it, which are my everything right now. I mean, that's all I live for right now. It's for my daughter and my son. But as far as my career goes, yeah, it was going up and down like this because my personal life was going like this.
Yeah. So I'm curious, how old are your kids, by the way? Just curious.
My daughter is 15.
Oh,
my
okay.
God. And my son is about to turn 12. Let me tell you something, man. Having teenage daughter, wow.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world, bro.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter's 28, my son's 23. So
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, the middle school years with the daughter are probably the roughest for sure.
Let me tell you something, though. I have to be completely honest with you. I am best friends with her.
Wow.
We talk like friends. She tells me everything and I come back with her. I am so blessed, knock on wood, that I have that type of relationship with her. And, the way we hang out and, the way we talk to each other, we go to movies together and we hang out and we crack jokes. And she's basically my twin. She is my twin. She's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, usually they hate their mom around that time and they just kind of like tolerate their dad or something. So you're in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm in a good place.
I'll get into this because we're going to ask about the Titus rivalry and all that, the feud eventually. So I'm just going to get out of the way now. How did that even start? Was there actually a feud? Because I remember you guys partying together and being pals. So were you guys ever really, was there really an animosity at some point early on?
Yes, we didn't like each other at all. And we never really partied with each other. We were at the same place, at the same parties, but we never really partied with each other. And how it all started is simple, man. I'm living in Vienna, Virginia. And at that time, everybody on all the press and everybody was in California getting all the promotions and the covers and what have you.
Yep.
Back when there were magazines. So I had just gotten my pro card. I contacted the Weider organization and Flex and Muscle and Fitness, and I talked to Jim Schmaltz and I talked to Peter McGuff, and I said, "Hey guys, how do I get some publicity? What's going on here?" And they said, "Well, controversy always gets you in there." So I was like, "All right." So I started talking smack about the West Coast. Next thing you know, who's the first person that bit? Titus. Yeah. He just jumped on there, and Melvin was right after him. But with Melvin, it was actually fun. Like Melvin is fun. Melvin cracks jokes. He's the type of guy that does this and makes you want to jump and he laughs at you for 5. That's Melvin. Yeah. Craig takes it too far. And obviously, look at where he is now. Life term in prison for murder. So there you go.
Did he ever physically threaten you?
No, he would never do that.
I mean, he did it to me.
No, he never once said. Let me tell you something, Ron. Let me tell you something about this. And this is something that I learned a long time ago from one of my closest friends in high school. One of my closest friends in high school. Yeah. And he taught me, he goes, whenever there's somebody who talks a lot of yap, all you got to do is get right back in their face and they won't know what to do. So all those years when to get big people and this and that who were talking shit. And I said the same thing to every single one of them. I'll be at the Arnold Classic at the Muscle Tech booth from 2 to 8 p.m. Show up and let's see what you got. In 11 years, Ron, not one person showed up.
Yeah.
I even got threatened by some MMA fighter that I'll see you with the Gold's Gym in Vegas, blah, 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 blah. You know what? I was there. I did legs. He didn't show up. And it's all a joke. Yeah. Joke.
I mean, did we even have the expression keyboard warriors back then? Or is
we call them buck-toothed jackasses. That's what we
jackasses. That sounds like a Chickarillo phrase to me.
Yeah.
Buck-toothed
jackass.
I won't talk about Titus much more, but were you surprised when it happened? Because no. When I heard a bodybuilder's wanted for murder, my first thought was, I bet it was Craig Titus.
Yeah, well, I wasn't surprised at all. None of us were surprised.
Yeah.
As a matter, you know what surprised me? It surprised me that he got caught. I
Mm.
thought Craig was in Mexico and gone.
So did I.
You know, because I called Bob, I talked to a few people, and I said Chris, and I even called Chad. I'm like, what do you guys think? And we all had the same consensus that he was gone.
Yeah.
He's somewhere down in Mexico. You'll never see him again. Blah 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 blah. But you know, drugs will
when
make you
it
do
happened.
stupid ass things.
So when he got caught, everyone told me, turn on your TV. Do you know where he was? He was not even a mile that way.
In a nail salon parking lot, if I remember correctly.
I'm in Stoughton, Massachusetts. That's where he got caught. He got caught here. And people were like, was he coming to get you, Ron? I said, I hope not. But he was actually, it was like Matt, I can't remember his name. Big kid, he died. Matt something.
Matt Duval.
No, not Matt Duval. It was another one. Maybe it wasn't Matt. It was a big kid who lived in this area, and he was supposed to hook him up with some cash and fake passports. And
oh, yeah.
It had never happened, obviously.
Right.
Man. So your career, you know, you competed until 2008.
Right.
Did you keep competing because you loved it, or was it a contractual thing? Because you were with some big company. You were with Muscle Tech for a while, weren't you?
Both. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do it. And towards the end, you have to understand it. Well, I don't want to get into it because it was too personal, but it was a personal thing. And at that time I had to make a decision. It was either my family, okay, or this sport. And I had saved up enough money, and I had, good people who can point me in the right directions with investments and this and that, where I could stop, but unfortunately my luck, that same year, Ron, what happened? That was the Lehman Brothers, the banks all crashed. And that was the year when everybody lost their money. And so it was a really crazy transitional time in my life, but I was done. I didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to step on stage anymore. If I was with someone who was in the same line of work, was a bodybuilder who supported me, it would be a whole different story. Which leads me to something that I've never really ever talked about. This is the first, okay? Because I was thinking to myself, I've already talked about all this stuff. What's Ron going to ask me? What are we going to talk? So at that particular time, at the very beginning, when I met my ex-wife, I was also talking to a very, very, very famous figure competitor who was Olympia level. I mean, I'm not going to mention her name, but everyone was pushing us together. Everyone. From her side, they were pushing her towards me. From my side, everyone was pushing me towards her. And they were like, you guys are going to be a power couple. You guys are going to rule this industry. You guys are going to do this and that. And I met my ex-wife, and it was done. Oh. And I remember I saw her, and she knows who she is. And I saw her at the Arnold Classic, and she saw me with my ex-wife, and we were walking. And I just remember the look that she gave me, and she mouthed to me, and I'll never forget. She goes, "You fucked up," and she walked away. You want to talk whack across the face without actually doing it, and she was right at the end.
Wow. Yeah. Did you end up being with her later on after your divorce or anything?
No, because she married some famous and professional athletes, and not in bodybuilding, but somewhere else. Millions. I'm talking that kind of athlete. And she has a nice life, and she has kids and all that stuff. But no, I mean, I saw her one time after that at the airport one time, and I said hello to her, and she said hello back. But that was the one that, they always say the one that got away.
Yeah. Well, in the comments below, people are going to speculate, and they're going to throw out some names, and I'll see. I'm going to do I'll do my due diligence, and I'm not going to I'll say that sounds like it could be the one, but
I'll give all those kids just one clue: exotic. Take it from there. Okay. Now let their imaginations go.
I mean, this is to you. These kids now, they don't know any of the women from back then anyway.
But see, they don't understand. Like you and I understand the before. Who was Trish Stratus and Jenny Lynn, the Muscle Mag girls, and we had the original superstars and icons and all that. Like right now, the UFC girls are this, and no, we had Robert Kennedy, the Muscle Mag girls. We had all that. So we had that. We had a real good.
You know, you were on the cover of Muscle Mag a few times. So obviously I wrote for the magazines I still, there's one magazine left, MD. But I mean,
Right.
I really miss that era. I think that was, things were so, to me, things were so much more special when we only saw the athletes in the magazines. There was a mystery to you guys. You guys were larger than life figures. Now, social media, I could see my favorite bodybuilder, you know, he'll tell me how many dumps he took today. You know, I
Right.
see him eating his freaking last grain of rice, and it's just not, I don't know. To me, the magazine era, I know times change and you can't, nothing stays the same forever, but do you miss that era? Because I missed the hell out of it.
If I say it, if you say it, we're what you call disgruntled old guys, you know,
Bitter.
living. Yeah, we're bitter. We're living in the past. But I see it. I mean, like I have had this conversation hundreds of times with people. I'm like, we had it best, man. Gen X, we had it so good. The way we had it, the camaraderie, the shows that we had. I mean, everything was in a different sense of how it was. And I've said this before, and I'm sure you agree with me on this one. You can't, when you were at the Nationals, the USA champion and the national champion were already stars.
Yep, yep.
You were already, you know, Dennis Newman, Chris Cormier, Flex Wheeler, Paul DeMeo. You were already a star before 100%. You even went into the pros. Yep. Now, I challenge you, name the last 3 national champions.
Not only can I not do that, but ask me like, who's the favorites for the Nationals this year? Like, I don't know. I have no freaking idea. Because yeah, there's no build up to it anymore. It's, here I go, I'm getting in trouble again. But too many pro cards. Too many pro cards. I mean, yes, it's just diluted it. It's you know, I don't want to talk.
Listen, I've had this same conversation before, Ron, and you know, I my heart goes out to you because you're in the media and you got to talk about this stuff. Yeah. You know, for me, I can say anything on my Instagram and whatever. Yeah. You know, but they're like handing out Tic Tacs. When you won the USA Championship, you were the only one that turned pro that night.
Yeah.
One man turned pro. So that's why we were stars. That's why we had to, you know, I used to, when I got my first nationals, when I got 13th, I wrote the other 12 guys, excuse me, 11 guys, because the one who won left. Yeah. All the 11 guys before me, I'm like, okay, I'm knocking these motherfuckers out next year. And then I would mark off the year afterwards, the 4 that I knocked off. I'm like, okay, these 4 are next. Until it got to a point where there was like only one name left. I said, I got to get this guy. That's how it was. And yes, the magazines, being on the cover of the magazines meant something. It was a prestigious thing. And it was just a whole different world, man.
Yeah. Wow. You're right. I'm crying a lot. But I mean, the social media, I do see one huge positive to the social. There's more than one positive, obviously. But back in those days, the only way to get any publicity, like you said, was you had to get in the magazines. That was it. There was, you know, there was no internet. We didn't have an internet. It wasn't around yet. Now, so basically you had to get noticed by photographers. Most of them were out in the Los Angeles area, magazine publishers, supplement company owners, but it was mostly, I think the photographers were basically the talent scouts back then.
You had to be friends with the photographer. Irv Gelb, Ralph DeHaan, you know, all of you. Exactly. You had to be friends with these guys, man. And I was blessed enough, again, knock on wood, that these guys loved me. Yeah. You know, because I was always on time and I listened to them. I never complained. And I would listen to them saying, my God, that last guy, and you know, some IFBB pro, he complained the whole time. I was like, no, man, I'm here to work because I know these pictures are going to be here forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, now that's in the hands of the athletes. It's a good thing in one way, because now they don't need to, they're not at the mercy of these photographers or magazine publishers or anything. They can make their own publicity. They can make their own following, YouTube channel, and Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Whereas, you know, back in the day, it was a very, very select group of people that got publicity now. But on the other hand, you have people that don't compete. You have people that physique wise, you and I could tear them to shreds in like 5 seconds. You know, they're missing this, they're missing that, whatever. But, you know, the followers don't care. The vast majority of people who follow them have no idea that, oh, wait, you're supposed to have legs, or you're supposed to have a back, or, you know, this guy, it's an entirely different world. I think it's for the younger generation, obviously, who grew up with it. Like your kids, they've grown up with social media. That's all they know. Whereas to you and I, we do it because we have to. It's part of our industry, but we didn't grow up with it. We still remember what the world was like before that.
Yeah, in my opinion, Ron, it's done more damage than good.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think mental health is going to the shitter because
Well,
of,
I mean, listen, the biggest problem with social media, with all the nonsense that you see nowadays is this. They just scroll and scroll and scroll, thinking that there's something else out there. You know how many times I have said to, I myself personally, look at someone's profile and they look like they're living a perfect life,
yeah.
a perfect life. And I know that it's absolute bullshit. You know, it's not, that's not what's happening. The wife is cheating on him. The husband's doing this. The kids are getting kicked out of school. This guy, and they, if you look at the profiles, everyone's living this perfect life. And then when someone sees that, they say to themselves, my God, why am I not living that life?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? And then you have the
suck.
depression. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the highlight reel, as people call it.
Yeah. And that's what, and I've taught that to my kids, both my son and my daughter. They know it's all fake. They know, they both know. They're like, oh, that's fake. You know.
Good, good. Going back to something, you know, the 90s and early 2000s, a lot of us older people consider that was like a golden era, and bodybuilding hasn't quite been the same yet since then. I do think we're starting to see a new era right now that's almost equally exciting, with a lot of new talent and more excitement. And we got guys starting feuds again, and they're trying to make it interesting. Do you think we are entering another era like that you're part of?
Yes, absolutely. I've been waiting for this. You know, I've been waiting for a time where I can sit there and say, would I actually want to watch the Mr. Olympia again? Which I haven't in many, and that's embarrassing to say.
Really? Wow.
I just don't care, man.
Wow.
It's just like, to me, it's like, okay, great, this and that, blah, 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 blah. But you get into it now, and especially these last 2 years, Ron, you know, I lost count. How many? 36 bodybuilders dead in the last 2 years?
At least.
Something like that. I mean, and that's not including half the fucking guys that are dying in the Middle East. They're bodybuilders dropping dead every day in the Middle East.
Really?
Every day. Yeah, because they think they listen to lunatics, and instead of getting someone to help them out. Even the coaches nowadays here in the United States, they don't know what they're doing, man. They don't know what they're doing. I can't tell you. I just helped someone 11 days ago, and he had hired one of the top guys in this industry, top gurus. And he contacted me and he said, bro, you gotta help me, work your magic. I said, and out of the kindness of my heart, he was gonna deposit thousands of dollars into my Venmo me this and that. I said, oh man, keep your goddamn money. I'm just gonna show you how it's supposed to be done. You know, and in a matter of 6 days, I literally brought him back to life, and he managed to get on stage and do a lot of damage at a very, very, very. He's in another country at their, let's say, NPC Nationals. He did a lot of damage, but that's what I'm talking about. It's just like these kids and these people nowadays, they lost the respect of they don't understand what bodybuilding is about. They don't understand the soul. They pretty much lost their soul. There was a thing that we had, that the dieting, the suffering, the this and that, and now it's all about, I mean, for fuck's sakes, Ron, they're renting out tripods at gyms.
I know.
I can't say anything more than that. They're renting out tripods at gyms so people can.
I know a couple that just keep them on hand, complimentary. You know, you can't take them away out of the gym when you're done. But
now, let me ask you this: 15, 20 years ago, if somebody brought a tripod in the gym, what would have happened to them?
Everybody would have laughed at them. The owner probably would have kicked them out.
The owner would have kicked. If you would have pulled that shit in North Carolina, they would, let's say at Ric Flair's gym and Gold's gym in North Carolina, these wrestlers would beat the fuck out of you. Will beat the shit out of you right there and throw you out in the fucking parking lot. Yeah, but that's the world we live in right now.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is it a good thing that we have so many more people into fitness and training, or is it a bad thing because a lot of them are only in it for attention and approval and likes and clicks and follows? Like, if you took their Instagram account and YouTube account away, I bet a lot of these people wouldn't even train anymore.
Yeah, there's only a few OGs left. They really are. But like you said, I'm liking the new batch. I absolutely, I love Nick Walker, man. I like his attitude. I like what he's bringing. Andrew Jack, for now, I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. You know, the conditioning and the hardness that the Middle Eastern guys, Hadi and those guys are bringing. Yeah, I'm starting to see that. Hunter, he's in there too. Now we got Lunsford, he's in there. Yeah, it's exciting, man. It's starting to finally be like, okay, let's see what we got this year. Hopefully they'll bring the conditioning, all of them, and then we'll have a great show.
Yeah. Now, were you aware of all the potential and talent in the Middle East long before everyone else? Am I right
Yes.
on that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
went there.
Iran in particular, long before Hadi, you were telling people, watch out for Iran. There's a lot of talent there.
Bro, let me tell you this right now, and I'll say it again for those people who didn't hear me the first time. I'm doing it on your show, Mr. Ron Harris's show.
Yeah.
There are 20 or 30 hotties out there. I'm telling you, better than him, bigger than him, freakier than him. I saw it with my own eyes, man. Whatchamacallit has one right now. Milos is helping one of them right now. Behrouz for the
Tavani, yeah.
Exactly. And he's just one of the crop that's in. Unfortunately, you see the mess that's happening in that country.
Yeah.
You see what's going on. And when people came to me, they're like, what is it over there that's bringing out all these bodybuilders? I'm like, they have nothing else to do. There are no nightclubs. There's no like places where you can go hang out. There's no coffee shops. All these kids have in Iran is the gym. The only place they can go crank some fucking hip hop and some house, and they go in there and they take their clothes off and they like the girls go in the morning. They can't go together. The guys and girls have to go separate times. So the girls go in the morning, the guys go in the afternoons. I mean, that's all they have. And you wonder why they're all coming out of the woodwork and they're all freakazoids. And there's more of them coming. Watch.
Wow. Yeah. Getting back again about the, people getting messed up, because I know you coach, you have the King's Army is what you call your clients.
That's correct.
That's a great name.
Thank you.
Do you think we're seeing a lot of health problems because drug use is escalating, or this could be both? Or is it that we have so many freaking coaches, everyone is a coach, and if you're a coach and you don't know jack shit, the easy solution is to just throw a ton of drugs at somebody?
Absolutely. That's exactly what's happening. That is exactly what's happening. Nobody wants to do 2 hours of cardio. No. Nobody wants to reverse dieting.
Well, I mean,
seriously, reverse? You mean cheat meal? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
All this stuff, or you sit there and you got to wait an hour for some girl to get off the Smith machine when she's got 17 bands wrapped around her legs with her hat down on her face, trying to do hip thrusts with fucking 6,000 pounds, and she has no ass.
I know that girl.
Yeah, I think we all know that girl. You know how many times I walked over there and said, "Hey, why don't you just squat?
Yeah,
get off the Smith machine, go grab a squat bar, go the squat rack over there and go down to the ground, come back up. That's how you're going to build an ass. That's how you do it. What happens now is you go to these coaches, and I've been backstage. I used to go in with my clients backstage and help them out. I don't do that shit no more. I do everything online, and that's it.
Yeah.
You hear the conversations and stuff. Clueless. Wow. Just throw more drugs at them. And these kids, they're not looking any better.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing, is if physiques were getting dramatically better, I'd be like, okay, I guess more drugs that must be that we should all do that. But no, I mean, I know I'm not going to put this guy on blast, but I know a coach who gives his clients DNP just so they can have a cheat meal every week in prep. Really, I'm not even kidding. That, to me, when I heard that, one of the clients told me, I was like, that is just revolting.
One of the biggest compliments the things that I get a kick out of more than anything else, Ron, is I'll give you a perfect example that happened this past weekend. I had a client, her name is Lacey. Lacey competed in wellness in Texas at the Texas Pro-Am show.
Yeah.
And she's just the sweetest girl in the world and busts her butt, mother of three, professional. She's just the greatest thing in the world. She got third in the Open, second in the Masters, and second in the Hero. And she was the most ecstatic in the world, not because of her placings, but she called me that night and said, you know what was the best fucking feeling in the world, King? I'm like, what? She goes, how everyone was telling me, how did you stay so pretty and put on the muscle?
Wow.
That's all they kept. The judges were complimenting her on how pretty she is. The girls backstage, how pretty she is. That's because I took her down the old school path. 2 hours of cardio, white fish for 6 weeks, asparagus every day. So when you pee, you smell the distinctive place. She suffered, and she would call me up and she was like, I am about to lose my fucking mind, but I'm not stopping. I keep going. Yeah. And then we go, I get her ready. She looks gorgeous, blonde bombshell on stage, but she still was competitive. She almost, third place in the open, and that Texas show is it's hard, man. Yeah. And it was a stacked class. So that's what I get a kick out of, teaching these kids the science without jacking them up on drugs.
So yeah, you've been a coach now for quite a while, correct?
Yeah, man. I do online coaching and consulting for it's been like 12 years now.
Okay. So do you get the same type of satisfaction as when you were doing it yourself as a competitor, or is it a totally different type of satisfaction helping someone else get reach their goals?
Right. It's in my genetics. I'm a giver. I get a kick out of transforming people. Now that's done some bad. That's also been a curse in my life too, because it got me hurt a couple of times, because I like to get something and create something. And then at the end, I want to claim it as mine. And then something else happens. But right now, as far as this sport goes and stuff, as being a coach, yeah, I get a super kick out of finding somebody and then transforming them and turning them into something else. And, I say this to these gurus all the time, Hani and George Farah and this and that. Okay. When you have Phil Heath, a blind albino chimp could get Phil Heath ready for a show.
Yeah, I used to say,
okay.
My dog could prep him.
Dexter Jackson, Branch Warren. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Andrew Jack, Blessing. Okay. Great. Congratulations. You got to find me someone who's missing a leg, has a patch under her eye. Okay. And, and has some nerve damage, and create something out of that, which I have.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Which I have. And then you create something out of that. So it's a whole different world. And again, you got to stick to your, morals when it comes to this, and you have to be smart. Use your head and stop listening to these kids on the internet, because look what happened to. I talked about this with Bob the other night on the VOB podcast. Derek Anthony gone, Boston Lloyd gone. Why? You didn't have to take it. You don't have to be part of Team 3CC. I didn't even know that was his team.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense to me. If I take a stimulant nowadays, which I don't anymore. I don't take any stimulants at all. My heart starts pounding. Why would I want to do that to myself? I'm not trying to get ready for a show anymore.
Yeah.
Instead of taking the pre-workout and stuff like that, you know what I do? I clean up my diet a little bit more and add a little bit extra cardio at the end.
Yeah. That's another thing I want to ask you, because, a lot of us are in the same boat, middle-aged, and, how do you let go of wanting to be that big freak when deep down, you're going to die much sooner rather than later if you continue that path. But it's hard. It's so psychologically addicting to be that big. I was never a big freak like you, but I can't imagine you're still a big dude. But I can't imagine what it's like to lose that freaky look that you only have on a shit ton of drugs, with the veins and just the hardness and the round fullness.
I'll tell you how. I'll explain to you how I deal with that. Okay. And I hope this sinks into a lot of people out there so they understand it. They follow the path that I've been following. Okay. First of all, I get blood work done every 3 months. I give blood every 2 months. So I take 150 pills every day. All of it's detox. So I take care of myself. I drink 3 gallons of water a day. I still eat 8 meals a day, not because I'm trying to force feed myself, but because I'm hungry. Okay. I still eat my meals a day and all that stuff. And what I'm doing right now is TRT. Okay. And if I'm on the TRT and I weighed in this morning at 268 pounds,
well, there you
268 pounds with TRT. Just imagine if I started taking insulin, growth, trend, VAR, all that stuff, all the things that you have to do when you're at that level. I would be back up to 300 pounds. I would be feeling this will be jacked up to here like this. I don't want to do that anymore. I have no interest in doing that anymore. But at the same time, I can also I go to the gym. You see in my Instagram, I post pictures of myself when I finish stuff, when I'm pumped up. Yeah. Oh, do the Masters, Olympia King. If you put $2 million in front of me, I wouldn't do it. I'm done. Yeah. So I'm content with it. But it's not just bodybuilding. I mean, look at any athlete. In my opinion, Brady should have retired last year. Okay, done, finished. Go on some island and, have fun for the rest of your life. Roy Jones Jr., you unified 6 different divisions and won the heavyweight. Retire. but you just can't. It's in our blood. We just want to keep going and bring back that glory. Trust me, I'm at the gym. You know, I want to put on 23 plates on each side on a leg press and say I can still do it. I don't because I don't want to jack my hips up, or I'm still doing good. I'm still walking around. I'm still healthy. I don't have any injuries. I don't have any pain here and there. That's a very, very good thing to have at 50.
Shit, yeah. I mean, I'm like half crippled myself, but yeah, it's funny because I talked to Milos about the Masters Olympia. Like, would you ever consider? He's like, not only would I not do it, he said there should not be a Masters Olympia. That's the stupidest idea to have all these older guys blasting a shit ton of gear at 50, 55, 60 years old. Talk about a recipe for disaster. So we'll see if it happens.
If you know what, God bless his soul. If people didn't learn from Flex Wheeler when he tried to come back and do the men's, I mean, I was dying when I saw those pictures. My heart was breaking because I wanted to remember Flex. Yeah. The Salt in the Cemetery, the guy who did a front double bicep. You're like, all right, good. Everybody else go home. Get out of here. Done. You know, so that's what I wanted to remember him as. It's just like Cormier. Cormier is he transitioned himself and he's doing something else now. You would never see him go back up on stage. No. Not a chance will Chris ever would do it. You know why? Because he's done. You put that aside and it's time to do something else.
Cool. Well, last thing I want to ask you about, I know you don't follow the Olympia and all that closely, but I still respect your eye and your opinion tremendously. Yes, is Big Ramy beatable? Does anybody have a chance to beat this freak this year or not?
Ooh. If Ramy, are we talking about if everybody's 100%?
Yeah, it's that, which never happens, but let's just pretend. Which
is something that I thank God you said that, because I always say that. You always say, oh, this is going to be the greatest Mr. Well, no, because nobody's going to be 100% all the time. Right. Is he beatable? Yes. He is beatable because he's not a shapely guy. He's not, there's a lot of things wrong. And there's just things that could, he's not pleasing to the eye, but the overwhelming muscularity. And if Chad can bring him in like he was in the same condition when he won the New York Pro. See, that's what I remember. I remember that condition with the size that he has on now. If he can do that, he's still going to be champion. But Andrew Jacked, woo! That guy's Samson, if he can get dry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who knows what Lunsford's going to look like next to these guys, but hey there. If what should we call it? If Hunter Labrada, if he can get that film of water off of him. Yeah. Okay. If Nick didn't get too blocky from adding on that extra 10, 15 pounds that he had on this year and come into crispy, you know, I sent Nick a text. He's actually a fan of mine, which I get a kick out of, because he's like, yo, next time I got to take a picture with you. I'm like, good. I love Nick. So I sent him a text out of the blue. I said, forget the size stuff. Now that you're in Vegas, conditioning. Yeah. If Nick brings hottie type conditioning, he's dangerous. Yeah, I agree. He's going to be dangerous. But let's see if they can bring it. So far, as of last year, Ron, the only guy that I saw who had Olympia level conditioning was Hottie. Yeah. Yeah. He was the only one. Yeah. And I mean, he's yeah, I don't know if he's capable of winning the Olympia just because structurally shorter is not as wide. But you know, condition, he's the only guy up there that I see with that real high level of detail. I don't think I would agree with you. I don't think he has what it takes to win, but he's changed the direction of the sport, because now he's like the new, and he's like the Dexter. If Dexter was doing a show, you're like, fuck, I got to be in shape. Yeah. You know, because you knew that guy's always going to be in shape. Right. So Hottie right now, you know, came back and said, okay, this is what I'm bringing. So everybody has that vision in their head now. They're like, okay, yes, great. I'm full as a house, and, you know, the whole insulin protocol and the whole get big and fullness. That's great. Okay. But you got to bring the conditioning with it too. And that's a whole different ball game. There's potentially around 4 or 5 guys that can be in there. Yes. Yeah. So are you going to go this year? Are you going to watch it? I'm thinking about it. I got a friend of mine who's killing me, who's telling me, well, let's go. People are going to get a kick out of seeing you again. And I've talked to Palumbo. He's like, I'll let you say whatever the hell you want on the what you call it cast and the pregame show. I was like, listen, I have to think about it because I have so many things I'm doing over here. So many things.
Right on. Well, I hope you make it there. I'd like to see you in person, if not there, somewhere soon, man. It's been a
It would be
long
fun. Yeah.
time. I remember you as you were a kid. Now that I think about it, you must have been like 21, 22. I remember you at the Arnold Classic long before you turned pro, black and white singlet, spandex, 300 pounds, freaking bloated, big and bloated like a tick. And I said, Jesus, that guy got big.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. The last thing before we go, that was Chad Nichols's fault. That wasn't my fault. I had just gotten 7th at the Nationals, and I walked up to him after the show, and I said, Mr. Nichols, and he goes, yeah. I said, yeah, listen, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing the last week. I said, I get to 1 week out and I'm done. And then Kim was there laughing. She's like, oh, he's cute. That's sweet. I'm like, please help me. So he goes, you going to the Arnold this year? I'm like, yeah, why? He goes, come to the Arnold at 300 pounds and we'll talk.
Oof.
I've said the story before. That's exactly what he said to me. He goes, come to the Arnold at 300 pounds. So, man, I had a VIP membership at McDonald's, at Burger King, at Kentucky Fried. I was on the Lee Priest off-season diet, man.
Man, yeah, you were big, man. I remember.
308. I showed up at the Arnold.
The only reason I remembered so distinctly is because I think I had remembered seeing you there the year before, and you were like 40 pounds light or something like that.
I showed up at the Arnold at 308 pounds, bro.
Well,
at 5'10", 308.
Thank you, Chad. So, cool. Well, King, thank you so much for taking the time. So your Instagram is just your name, at King Kamali.
At King Kamali, yes.
Great coach. You could be part of the King's Army. How cool would that be? Maybe
that would be awesome.
Maybe you get a hoodie out of it or something. I don't know. But do you have a YouTube channel too?
I'm working on something right now with a good friend of mine. We're going to try to get something going and all that, because I did the whole thing with Generation Iron for a while, King's World for Generation Iron.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I'm doing something right now. I'll make the announcement in a couple of weeks.
Okay, cool. Well, you can find it on his Instagram, guys. King, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course, brother.
I could talk to you all damn day. So, man, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with King Kamali. Subscribe to the channel. If you got any comments about this, guys, leave them down below. We love feedback, good or bad. It's all good, man. So that's it. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.